Good morning, Hojo staff, students, and families. Yaatevena, we're ready to start our day, so please stand. Place your right hand on your head. If you have a hat or a hood, take it off. Place your right hand over your heart. Voices are off, bodies are still, standing respectfully, and we recite the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 28th. We're ready to start our day with some music. And so Mrs. Neff has placed a new selection for us. So let's go ahead and listen to that. Okay, friends, hopefully you've had a chance to study up on what our new selection is, or you remember from yesterday. So it is from a ballet. This is the first one that we have had from a ballet. What's the name of the ballet? Romeo and Juliet. Yes, also a title written by based on the play, which was written by Shakespeare. When you get into junior high, I think it is, so we'll be reading Romeo and Juliet. And we missed our Shakespeare Festival, so we'll have to do that again sometime in the future. So this piece is from a ballet written about the play Romeo and Juliet, the story Romeo and Juliet. And it is, what's the selection from the play? Just like when we do the opera, how we have the opera, let's say Nessun Dorma is the selection from the opera Turandot. So this is the ballet Romeo and Juliet. What's the selection that we are listening to? The Dance of the Knights. Hopefully you got that correct, by Prokofiev. Nice job, everybody. All right, let's listen to another selection. I'm going to play it in the middle, although I don't think that it would matter. I think you're going to be able to get this one. That is fun to listen to. All right, friends, what are we listening to? What's the name of the whole piece? Obviously, it's an opera. What's the name of the opera? Carmen. The piece is Habanera, and it is composed by Bizet. I hope you got all of those correct. That was a lot to remember. Okay, friends, we'll do some more of the music tomorrow. Let's look at art. So behind me, zoom on back, we have this piece that we learned yesterday. Oh, I think you can look at the piece and you can remember the title. Tell me what the title is. Children Playing at the Beach. That's right. And the artist? Mary Cassatt. Nice job, everybody. Okay, for a poem today, we have a poem that you will read in junior high, in high school, in college, and throughout your life. It's a very familiar poem, known to a lot of people, so hopefully maybe some parents have read this. And it's called Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, and it's by Robert Frost. And he is an American poet. In fact, he was from New England or worked at Plymouth State University. He has a little cottage right there. That's where my son goes to school. So we have Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound's the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Have you ever done that? Just stopped and watched it snow? I know we're coming into spring here, and we're all done with snow, I think. Although it snowed the last day of school last year, or the day before the last day of school. So maybe we're not done with snow. But to just stop and watch it. And he takes it in, this person who's driving by in his horse and carriage, and he stops by and he sees the snow just lightly falling in the woods. And it catches his eye, and he stops because there's something so beautiful about it, and so soft and so lovely. And he takes a moment to stop. But here he's talking about the person whose land this is doesn't live there. He lives in the village. And the horse is like, what are you doing? Why are we stopping here? Come on, we got places to be. And so the horse is kind of restless, trying to get by. And so it's like here he is amongst all of this busyness, stopping and noticing something beautiful in nature. But he can't stop long because he has miles to go before he sleeps. And when you get into high school, we'll talk a little bit more about, is that literal translation, or is there something more behind what Robert Frost is sharing with that? So one day we will talk more about that poem. We will see that one again. Okay, so friends, we've been talking about the Gettysburg Address lately, reviewing that, because we've done the preamble and we've talked about the Declaration of Independence, and now 77 years later, after the Declaration of Independence. Now, the Declaration of Independence was ratified on July 4, 1776, and so 77 years later would bring us to what date? 1863, right smack dab in the middle of the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln is to give an address. Another word for address is a speech, talk that he has to address. He has to speak to a group of people who have gathered, because they are going to dedicate a portion of the battlefield to those who had died at the Battle of Gettysburg. And so how many years is a score? 20. That's right. So we have 80, 20, 40, 60, 80, plus 7, 87 years later, Lincoln is given this speech. And again, we talk about how Lincoln is reminding people, our fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers who came to this land, or who started this country with a vision and with a dream, are we gonna just let that die? Was all of that for nothing? Was everybody right? Humans cannot self-govern. They have to have somebody in charge, or else they can't do it. They just crumble. And he's trying to get everybody to remember the ultimate goal here. And he starts to share that 77 years ago, that our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. So then he talks about being engaged in the Civil War, and then he gets to the last section here that we just did yesterday. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. What more can we say or do, he's saying. They've already given their ultimate gift to this country, their ultimate sacrifice. And then Lincoln says, "The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here." And the irony is that we're still talking about this speech that Lincoln gave. So he wasn't right about that. We do long remember what he said there. And we do long remember what they did there. So both. So he goes on to remark, "It is for us the living rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced." So he's saying we cannot dedicate this land. They've already done it. They've already consecrated it. But what we can do is ourselves, all of us who are still living, be dedicated. And what should we be dedicated to? The unfinished work, which they who fought there and died there had so far nobly advanced. They were trying to work towards bringing our country together and coming to a common understanding of self-government and democracy. So Lincoln is saying, but it's for us to be dedicated. Not so much this land, because the land has already been dedicated and it's already been consecrated with the blood of those who had died there. And so let's say that sentence, those two sentences together. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. Okay, friends, let's do it from the top. fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. Okay, friends, we'll continue with more of that on tomorrow. We'll add the next line or two till we have it all memorized again. Okay, friends, no birthdays today, so happy unbirthday to everyone. We do want to make some announcements about the readathon. I have some students who have been posting some minutes in their classroom, their classroom leaders or leaders in the school for posting the number of minutes that they've read. So don't forget to keep reading every day. If you need more reading materials, you can come to the school and get them. You can go to LibriVox.org and download some books in the public domain. Lots of our great works of literature are there. And even as audiobooks, you can download it, because if you listen to someone reading, it still counts. You can still use those minutes. How about you read to a brother or sister? Or if you have a brother or sister here in the school, read to them and you both get minutes. So let's go ahead and post our minutes for doing all sorts of reading between now and the end of the school year. So in Miss Rice's class, Jacob, nice job. In Miss Ferguson's class, Macy, good job to you. Miss Arnold's class, Ivy, nice job. Miss Marshall's class, Amelia. In Mr. Berg's class, Christian and Zoe. In Miss Foster's class, Kira, nice job. In Miss Essex class, Joaquin and Sophie seem to be the duo that rack up some minutes every day, so let's have some competition for them. And same thing with Mr. Green's class. Taylor has lots of minutes, but Elias has given her a run for her money today. In Miss Wilson's class, Jaden, nice job. So that's all that we have for today. Remember to be kind and helpful to your families, and stay at home for right now. Hopefully we'll have some word soon about when school will start back up again. So in the meantime, let's do our student pledge. I will do the good, I will learn the true, and I will love the beautiful. And I hope you have a great day, everyone.